Welcome to the Ultimate Mindset Change podcast with me, Paul Sheppard. And today I have with me Anthony Ogogo, who is the Olympic medalist and a friend. He's a coach. He's also been on so many TV shows. It's absolutely crazy how often you pop up on the box. And it's really lovely to welcome you to the show.
Paul, it's an absolute pleasure, mate. I love seeing your face and talking to you. It's some of my favourite things to do. So I'm glad we can do it today. And again,
So, you've had quite a journey. And I think for anyone who's not familiar with what happened to you, I think that would be a really good place to start because, it was, you had a dream taken away from you. Can we start there? Is that okay?
of course, yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, dreams. We chatted obviously off air a minute ago about one of your family members, and it's like when things get taken away from you and you're not ready, it's hard, right? And then in one punch back in October 2016, I lost my career. I lost my dream, my ambition, but also my identity. And that's the hardest one. I'd always been Anthony Ogogo, the boxer, right? From a young age, from a kid, I was that guy. I was that kid, destined to become, world champion and an absolute superstar in the sport of boxing. One punch. It wasn't even a punch. It was a forearm. One forearm bashed me in the eye, and I didn't know at the time because it was another difficult thing for myself. My journey to get back in the boxing ring was a long, drawn out, cruel 3-year process. I had 9 surgeries. I spent every penny I ever earned in the boxing ring, the hardest sport in the world. When you're getting bludgeoned in the head, that's literally the job. You're getting punched in the head, punched in the body. Every penny I ever earned in the boxing ring, in a professional boxing ring, I spent on eye surgeries that failed, that didn't work. After 3 years, after 9 surgeries, I'm 78. Well, last time I was tested, I was 78% blind in my left eye. It's worse than that now. It gets worse each year. I was forced to retire, and I was a 30-year-old man, still a very young man with a lot of life left to go, and I was forced to retire and figure something else out, just like that. Cruel, horrible blow, and yeah, that's basically that. If you want to start there, Paul, let's start there.
I do. And because, I know this was a very dark time from you. We've talked about it before. What made you want to become a boxer in the first place? How did you get to where you were, and how was that your dream at the time?
Yeah, my life is a complete. My life has been one of trials and tribulations, like we all go through.
Yeah.
Many obstacles, a story of resilience, really. I'm a bit of an anomaly in the fact that I grew up in a house full of women. Mum, 4 sisters. My dad was never around. When he was very violent, drunk. Not a wonderful man, charismatic, charming man, terrible dad, awful father, right? So for us, it was difficult in the household. And I'm rubbish at a million things. And you mentioned my TV appearances. I did Strictly Come Dancing 10 years ago, and I got to like week 2. Like Ainsley Harrier beat me in the dance off. I'm not very good at dancing. I'm not very good at, but I am good at a few things. Right? I was always very good at sport. I was
Yeah.
always very good at school, and yeah, through those things, I'm good at. I went down. I knew I was going to be in sport in my life. I love performing. And yeah, so boxing. I found boxing when I was 12 years old. My 2 best friends had a fight on a school playground at lunchtime. I mean, it was you can't really say handbags anymore. It's not very politically correct, but it was the equivalent to handbag, the PC version of handbags. And the little one beat up the big one, which nobody thought was going to happen. I said, "Wow, how'd you do that?" You go, "I'll go boxing club." I had no idea there was a boxing club in town. I said, "Well, I want to go." Yeah, it's Wednesday. Go. It's on tonight. He said, "But I don't go tonight. I go to the advanced class now." He said, "But the beginner class goes tonight." So I went to Adam, the guy that got beat up. I said, "Adam," said, "Aaron beat you because he goes boxing club. And what we should go tonight. We should get really good. You can fight him again tomorrow. Then you'll win." He went, "Yeah." I said, "Yeah, definitely." He went, "Okay." So I went home, got my bicycle, bike to his house, picked him up, gave him a seater, bike to the boxing club. And I walked in the door, and I don't know, I guess we have, well, I've had a couple of these moments in my life, and maybe you have as well, Paul. I walked in the door, never boxed before. I swam at a national level. I played football for Norwich City at the time. So very sporty, very athletic.
Yeah.
I had no idea if I was going to be good at boxing. Never really been in a fight before. And I walked in the door, and I just felt at home. And and the older I get, the more powerful this moment is, because in my whole life, I never felt at home. I mentioned earlier, house full of women, mum and four sisters. My mum is my hero. My sisters, they're my heroes as well. But I always felt like I didn't belong anywhere. I didn't belong. And then I walked in this boxing gym, even on the football pitch, I didn't belong. I wanted to win too much. Like my manager would say to me, Andy, calm down, we're winning. We calm down, calm down. I'm like, what? And I never belonged anywhere. I walked in the boxing gym, and I felt at home. And I had
Yeah.
no idea if I was going to be any good or not. And I thought I would. I hoped I would, because I was good at other stuff. But I knew this is me. This is home.
Yeah, that's amazing, isn't it? Going back, you obviously mentioned you swam at a national level, you played football. What was it about you that had this, you know, inclination towards being a sporty person? And to take it to that degree as well, because obviously swimming at a national level, that's no mean feat. And yet there you were trying all these different sports, obviously to find, the shoe that fits, and which you did. But what was it about you that wanted something, physical?
Mate, great question. So, a couple of answers here. My mum, again, my hero, never wanted us hanging on street corners. She always said that. Me and my four sisters, we couldn't. We had to be either doing schoolwork or doing something. Never street. Going back to nothing at home as well. I come from Lowestoft, really small, the most easterly point in the UK, like near Great Yarmouth, Norwich Way.
Mm.
Really,
Yeah.
really, really white town. There's me and one other family, and a population of about 60, 70,000. There's me, our family, and one other family that weren't white. Right? So like, it was my dad, who was born in Nigeria, ended up in Lowestoft in the 70s randomly. Then my mum had family. He went to London, and we didn't really see him growing up. So going back to never feeling at home, or like I had people around me, I felt very like. Mum said to me, "You can never get in trouble because you're the one black kid in town, one mixed kid in town, right?" So like, I could never get in trouble because I stuck out like a sore thumb. Faced a lot of racism growing up, a lot of racism. I've got friends from like London, inner city and South London, never faced racism growing up, because they were, when they everywhere they looked around, people liked them. They looked like them. They
Mm.
were there. Whereas I was so different, right? And it's strange. And like, as I've grown older, it was like I wasn't quite black enough being mixed. Wasn't quite black enough for the black kids. Wasn't quite white enough for the white kids. I've always had like a weird thing in my life where do I, not now, but like when I'm growing up, where did I fit? Going back to your question, why sport? I was very
Yeah.
good at. I was that kid at school that could pick up a tennis racket in year six and beat the teacher by the end of class. I like I was just very good at the sport. But my thing, and I got to about 30, so I went through, as we mentioned, and as we've spoken about privately, from some dark times when I retired from boxing, when I was forced to retire from boxing, and I struggled, and I went on this kind of like this learning, this road of learning about myself, and I did basically. I wanted attention. Well, I've always wanted attention, and this is kind of deep, but like I knew that if I worked really hard at school, I got attention by the teachers. And if I did stuff outside of school in sport, I got attention, and I loved it. And my mum, who's my hero for the third time, raised five kids, worked full time. At one point, my mum was a carer, was a psychiatric nurse, a carer. At one point, she became a dinner lady at our school. One, for money, because she was raising five kids on her own.
Mm.
But she'd wake up in the morning, she'd go to the care home in the morning, go to the school to be a dinner lady at school, then go to the care home in the afternoon and evenings. We'd all kind of help look after each other. And she did that just so she could see us. At one point, there's always three kids, three of us at school together. So just to see us at school, right? Because she didn't get to spend much time with us. Mum did an amazing job, a wonderful job. But there's only so much of her she could give. My dad was never around, right? And I thought they broke up for a long time because of me, because my dad, was not a very pleasant man. Whenever he'd come home, he'd get violent with me, and he'd hit me and beat me up, and mum would protect me. They'd argue, he'd leave. he found out later. We knew why he was leaving so often, right? But so for a long time growing up, I thought they'd only ever fight because of me, because he'd come back and he'd pick up me, slap me, beat me up, mama saved me, and that's my fault. So, so I wanted attention, and I realized if I was really good at something, I got attention, be it from school, be it my name in the newspapers, be it I hope my dad would come back into my life and I guess give me the love that I wanted. So that's a much deeper level why. I just loved winning. Right at the time, I just loved winning, loved being the best, loved being the best.
Yeah.
Anything I did, loved winning. But on a much deeper level, I guess I wanted love and attention, and I thought by winning, I got love and attention.
Do you think? I mean, it's great that you've got that self-awareness and reflection. Did you have help to get that sort of understanding about yourself, or is it something that you've come to that conclusion all by yourself? Did you have help at all?
I'm being really honest. I thought I have help. Yes. Yes. When I hurt my eye, I was married before, and I was in a real dark place, and I was basically I didn't do anything bad, but like all of a sudden, when you're an athlete and your career ends, the phone, which is always going, agents, managers, this, promoters, all this, that, and the other, stops ringing. Right? And then it's a really lonely place. Boxing's a lonely sport, but when you've got a big team around you, like you feel like I was always the tip of the arrow. And the arrow's now blunted and there's no tip. And I'm gone, I'm out. And I'm seeing people, live out my dream, become a world champion, earning loads of money, millionaires, people that I've beaten, people that I'm better than, living out my dream, right? And it's really difficult. And my ex-wife, she was still a wonderful, wonderful woman that I got much love and respect for. She kind of got sick of it. We got together very young. We were 14. And she'd been through a lot. I've had a lot of injuries, lots of setbacks, and I'd changed as a person. And essentially, it got to a point where like I was seeking attention from anybody, thirst traps on the internet, random women I met out, whatever. And it was that. It was almost losing her, right? Because again, nothing. I didn't cheat or anything like that. But like we just grew apart over a long period of time, and it took me her to learn that like what I'm doing, I'm chasing little mini dopamine hits now. Because what
Yeah.
my first psychologist said to me, my boxing psychologist said to me, I was losing the war in my head. Boxing was the goal, it was the war. I was losing that. So what I was doing, I was trying to win little battles in my day to day life. I was trying to get a little battle and win it. Right, that could be an argument with misses. That could be a fight. That could be getting attention from somebody, from a female. And I wasn't conducive. Wasn't me. So it took me almost me and my ex. We done a lot of therapy together, and we both became better people. And actually, in that growth, we realized that we fell in love when we were 14 years old. At 33, we were very different people than we were at 14, and we realized that being together wasn't good for either of us, and we broke up. And again, I love the girl ever as much, and she got love for me, and we're in a good place. So basically, it was going through a very difficult position time in my life. All kind of came to a head, and that's why I learned about myself.
I love that. Often it's amazing what wisdom we gather from past relationships, isn't it? And often, whether we realize it or not at the time, begins to bring you into a maturity which enables you to have the relationship that you truly need. And how is your relationship now? How is it you have
100%. So last year, so 2024 was a hell of a year for me.
yeah.
Became a father for the
Yeah.
first time. So
Congratulations.
thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you for your friendship and support through that period, Paul. Really appreciate that. Amazing. I've got a wonderful, wonderful partner. I've got a beautiful little baby girl, and I'm so happy. And if I had not gone through those, and it's just crazy, right? Because life, things happen for a reason. I don't know whatever people believe, but I believe things happen. Right? Things happen in life, and it's our job to find out what that reason is. Now, I had a whole life set up for me in the UK. I had a nice house, an amazing wife. I'd had a great life set out, but I was unhappy. I didn't even know how unhappy I was until I took the time to learn about myself. And I was miserable. I was hurt inside. And it's nobody else's fault. It's just a myriad of things I've been through and I hadn't healed from. I was full of emotional and physical scars. And also, let's not forget the fact that the eye injury that retired me from boxing, I'm now basically blind in my left eye. It's unsightly to look at. I don't see very well at all. I was always that cool kid at school that was really. I never knocked anything over, never bumped into anything, never dropped anything. I
Mm.
was cool. Right? I was athletic. I was sporty. I now bump into things 20 times a day. I now knock things over all the time. I've now when I grab my coffee, I've got to look at my coffee. I've got to grab it and I've got to focus because my eyes don't work together anymore. And when you have only have one eye, by one you lose depth perception. So I know this microphone is here, but you don't know. I don't know it's there. You know, I don't know
Yeah.
if it's an inch or 6 inches away. So
Okay.
I got very clumsy, and I just lost. I lost me. I lost my identity, essentially, as I mentioned earlier. I had to find myself again, and I did. And by losing my boxing career, I then became a professional wrestler, which I'm in America now. But as a professional wrestler, I'm really enjoying this career. It gives me the chance to live out a second childhood dream. Yeah, as I mentioned the Olympics. Yeah, the Olympics are a massive part of my life, and lots of stories around that. My mum was had an aneurysm just before the Olympic Games. I fought through a very lots of adversity, personal and professional, to win a medal. So now becoming a wrestler is a second childhood dream. I'm in America now. My ex we broke up, and I met my current partner. I've now got a baby. None of this happens if I didn't hurt my eye, right? So I don't know what the meaning was. I don't know what the reason was, but the reason I've found is, well, I'm out in America now. I've got an amazing partner. I've got a beautiful family. I'm now a coach like yourself. I'm now helping people every single day become better, fitter, healthier versions of themselves, both physically and mentally. And I'm in a really good place in my life.
Okay.
I'm in a really
L-
happy place.
Yeah. Let's unpack a little bit of this. So, in a sense, what I can hear is that mindset that the loss of your eye, as painful as it was, and we'll go into how you came back from that in a moment, was happening for you, not to you.
And it's and something we spoke about, Paul, a lot
Yeah.
over the last couple of years we've known each other. Like things, I guess what I like to say is like ultimately we're going to go through adversity. It's going to happen. That's life.
Yeah.
It's not always like rainbows every single day. But you got a choice. You can either go through adversity or you can grow through adversity. You can become a better person because of the shit you go through. Essentially, the things can happen to you, or they can happen to you. But if you choose to grow from it, they happen for you. What's the reason for this? What can I get from this? How can I become better from this? And exactly. And listen, it took me a while to get there. I went through some difficult times, some challenges. As I mentioned in the beginning, losing one's identity was really hard for me to overcome. But when you do the work on yourself and you get there, 100%, everything's happened for me, and I'm now a much better partner than I was before, a much better father than I would have been if I didn't go
Mm.
through some of the turmoil that I've gone through, and I'm happier now. I don't see very well. My left eye, things are a struggle. I'm not where I thought I'd be in my life right now. And others, and this took me. This is my biggest thing. I've had to work really hard on this. I've had to work really hard on being like others being successful when it should have been me. Do you know what I mean? It's like it was really hard
Mm.
for me. That's not really
Yeah.
arrogant or not. Like of people that I'm better than. I've earned so much money, and not just the money. Have the belts, have the world title belts, have the Olympic gold medals. I'm like, how is? But like, I worked harder than them. I deserved it more. It took me a while to get rid of that, but that mentality, the jealousy, the envy, the bitterness, it's like drinking. Someone said to me, it's like drinking poison and expecting them to get sick. No, it's
Yeah.
only going to affect yourself. So it took me a while to get to shed that one, to shed the resentment of the past. That was the hardest. The biggest lesson. Probably the hardest thing I've had to do is really shed that and say that life. Even this morning, I had a little. I was up early because the baby up at like 3 a.m. today, and had a little moment. I don't know what reminded me of it. So I had a little moment about boxing today. Had like a 10-second little. Oh. Then I thought, no, that's not me anymore. That's
Yeah. Yeah.
helped me to get to where I am now. So, yeah, I think you can either go through shit or go through the shit you go through, and the ones that grow through it, they become better people for doing it.
Yeah, and it's such a journey that you've been on. This, I guess it's easy, isn't it, to romanticize the life you think that you would have had as if it was going to happen that way. And we can get really attached, can't we, to this dream fantasy life that, in a sense, there's a part of us that says that should be me, that should be mine. But we don't know if it was ever going to happen. And in a sense, it's looking at the life you have now. And I've seen, the footage of you and your family and how happy you look. It's like if one thing had been different, you might not be, where you are now, experiencing that joy with your little one. I see those videos; they're so cute. you know, it's anything could have been different. You might not be experiencing that now, and I know it can be tough, but those moments of gratitude for where we are right now are really quite powerful.
Massively. Not just, I think, yeah, exactly. Maybe we wouldn't have been experiencing this, but not even just experiencing it. I don't think I'd have been as grateful for it.
Mm.
My ex-wife is an amazing woman. Love her to death, and we damaged that relationship, so it wasn't reparable. Now I'm so lucky to find another amazing woman who's wonderful, and like I'm so much more grateful and appreciative now because I found my first wife when I was 14 years old. I was far too young. I didn't. No
Yeah.
14-year-old boy wants to find their wife at 14. I want to be young and be a kid, and I had an amazing woman that didn't work. I've now got another amazing one, and I've been so lucky. I've been blessed unbelievably by two wonderful women I've had as my partners, and this time I want to really cherish that. I don't want to let that go. So I think the gratitude, and mention about gratitude, Paul, something I struggled with for a long time. Right, okay, and this. I hope I don't sound like an idiot saying this, but I bought a lovely house when I was 24, and I come from a really, as I mentioned, really. Rather than saying poor, I like to say humble beginnings.
Hmm.
Mum, 5 kids, went to Olympic Games, did well for myself. At the Olympics, when I went to Olympics, I was one of the best boxers in the world. I was on £1,000 a month, and in my head, I thought I'd cracked it because and I was 23-year-old man, and from where I'm come from, that was a far cry from earning £5.85 an hour working in a bar, which I used to do to
Yeah.
pay for my for stuff. So bought myself a nice house in East London when I was 24 years old, and I was like, "Oh, this is just a stepping stone house for me. It's a stepping stone house," and this is what I learned as well during that difficult time in my life. £500,000 house as a 24-year-old, I was able to buy, and I was like, oh, I should just I'll be here for a couple of years, and I'm going to go buy a mansion, right? A nice
Mm.
house in the countryside somewhere. And the whole time I lived in that house, I was there for 10 years, 11 years. I almost for the first 8 years, I almost begrudged it. I was like, oh, what am I still here for? I should be again. I was married to this idea where I thought I should be, where I thought that my career trajectory would take me. I was like, oh, why is Anthony Joshua like fighting for £20 million and I'm not? Like, why is Tyson Fury doing this? Or why is Chris Eubank Jr. And I'm comparing my life to other people's, right? And like, I had lots of injuries and setbacks, and eventually I had some context for this business I faced. I had injuries in the Olympics. My mum was very unwell, as I mentioned, and for me getting what I got, going through what I was going through, we thought she was going to. I'd sneak out the Olympic Games, get in my car, drive to Cambridge just to go and see her in a coma. We thought she was going to die 3 times during Olympics. Right, I did that. It was a horrible time for me, and I was
Mm.
boxing. It was an awful time. I turned professional. Injuries, injuries, injuries. I was out for a whole year of my Achilles. Basically, snapped both my Achilles. Surgery on them. I threw a punch. I boxed over in Germany. My shoulder came out. I dislocated my shoulder. I was out for another 10 months. It was a real difficult time. I eventually got back, had 3 fights. Then my eye went. And never boxed again. So a lot of bitterness wrapped up inside me, and
Yeah.
not people who weren't as good as me were living out my career, as I said. And I really, really, really struggled there. And I've got my train of thought. But yeah, the point I was making, the point I was trying to make
Yeah.
was was all these things are happening to me along the way of my career, and who you mentioned about like the future wasn't ours, right? Like we don't know what we're gonna have, and like I kept getting injured,
Yeah.
right? Is my hand and my rib, and then my eye, oh, sorry, my shoulder, my Achilles, then my eye. Each surgery was getting worse and worse and worse, and it's like for a while I was like so bitter that like oh my eye went bad in the fight before the world title fight. The next fight I'd have earned a lot of money. When I went bad, I was fighting a guy, really, really good boxer, couldn't punch very hard. I win that. Let's say I win that fight. I go to get my world title fight. I fight for maybe $3 million was the purse they were talking about. The guy I would have fought is the best boxer in the world right now. If I would have went in that fight, I might not be alive today, genuinely, right? Because it's the punches in boxing you don't see that on to cause damage. And I couldn't see for the whole fight with my eye, and I was
Yeah.
getting hit with punches I didn't see coming. If that happened and the guy I boxed, he couldn't punch very good, but couldn't punch very hard. Canelo, the boxer, who's the world champion, and I wouldn't have quit. I don't quit. I'd have boxed and boxed. I would have been in a really bad way if I would have
Mm.
went in that fight. So it's taken me a long time to go, wow, like I didn't get the money, didn't get the titles that I could have got in my career. But one fight like later, I could have got paid $3 million for that fight. Ended up, in a wheelchair the rest of my life, and that literally could have happened. So the
Yeah.
gratitude.
Yeah.
So I know I've remembered what I was going to say. The point I was making about the house thing was this. Right, sorry, my brain does this
That's all
sometimes.
right.
As you know, the gratitude thing. I always
Yeah.
wanted better. I wanted a better house. Right? I wanted a better car. All these people are doing things, and I'm not doing it. It took me a long time to realize, wow, like, I struggle to be grateful for what I've got, but still want more. That's a really weird, like, kind of like a dilemma I was in. I was like, how can I be grateful for this house I'm in when I want my mansion in the countryside? I don't understand. And it's like, and that it puzzles me. People say you've got to be grateful for what you've got. I'm like, yeah, but I want this. I'm not grateful. I'm begrudging of this. It took me a while, and it sounds like a bit of a dickish thing to say, but it took me a long time to get my home. It took me longer than I want to admit to get my head around the fact that you know gratitude is everything, and you've helped me a lot with that, Paul. Like gratitude is everything, and being grateful for what we have and who we are
Mm.
is way more than what I think I want. And I could have had that house, I could have had that lovely car, and been on my own and be miserable.
Yeah.
And then who's the winner? And I'm really, really. You've taught me a lot about the feeling gratitude and being great. And the funny thing is, when you're grateful for what you have, you actually open the door for more to come in, and that's
Yes.
what I
That's
didn't
right.
understand.
Yeah. That once you get that bit, what we give out to the universe, if we're grateful, we find more things to be grateful for. Whether you believe in the universe showing you these options or whether your mind, your mind filtering it out, we literally find what we put energy into. And that's the whole point of gratitude. Besides being a wonderful neurochemistry booster that feels good, it really does transform the way that you experience your reality. And even being grateful for the challenges. I mean, you're talking about your boxing journey. And to be honest, I mean, it's always sounded hideous. It's like Achilles heels going, shoulder going, all of these bits and pieces. I mean, just for the cash, was that ever worth it?
No, it wasn't. It wasn't the no, no. It wasn't the no, it wasn't the cash. It was a dream. I was going through some old pictures, which I really do. I need to do
Yeah.
more, kind of tell my story more on social media. And I was going through some old pictures, and I saw a tweet that I did back in 2019 or 18. It was 2019, the last big surgery. I had surgery in Boston, spent $45,000 surgery on both eyes at the same time, a really risky surgery.
Hmm.
And the tweet read something like, um, I'm gonna butcher it now, but it was beautiful the words I said. Something like there's beauty in fighting for a dream nobody can see but you, and I'll hold the promise, the eye, the vision, the dream. And it was
Okay.
like, I'll find it and I'll send it to you. It's really, really great words.
Yeah.
I must
Yeah.
have stole it from somebody else. It wouldn't have been me who read it up. But it's like in fighting for a dream or a vision that nobody can see other than you. It's like, and that's what I had this dream as a become world champion. It wasn't just for the money. It was a dream. It was a dream from being a 12-year-old
Yeah.
boy.
I think a lot of people relate to what you're saying, and I love what fighting for the dream. That often leads to an attachment to a future that doesn't exist, and we can get very upset if that future doesn't happen the way that we're planning it out to be, the way that we're fantasizing about it. And again, it's also, the dream might not be the best and highest version of your life. It can be, creating dreams can come from a limited mindset. This is what's going to make me happy. And yet there could be bigger plans for you from your own self. We're capable of so much more. And the dream can't happen this way because it will limit you.
Yeah.
And looking at what you're achieving, and now that you're helping people, the way that the way that you're coaching people, you've got your app. We'll talk about that in a bit. But I wonder if any of these things would have happened and given you the wisdom and knowledge that you do now, if you hadn't sort of lost your dream at that time. How did you, when that did happen for you? I mean, because looking at you, you've become this, famous wrestler. You've been on Strictly Come Dancing. You've been on Big Brother. We're going to definitely talk about SAS Celebrity in a minute. I know. But it's how did you get your, because you created this whole new identity for yourself. How did you do that?
I still, it's not hypocritical. So me back then, me back in 2019, I still wanted the life I always thought I wanted to have. I still wanted the cars and the cars. I want an Aston Martin, sort of one, an Aston Martin. I sort of one, and a house in the countryside. I always still wanted that, and I thought, right now, I can't get it through boxing now. Now I've got to go and get it elsewhere. Something to figure
Yeah.
out. And I've always, do you know what? It was, I had this, obviously in life, we either chase something, or we run away from something. And I was chasing this better and this bigger life that I thought I wanted. Now, really, after the work I did on myself, I just wanted to be happy and have contentment and be fulfilled. I wasn't fulfilled in my boxing career, but I was also running away from something. I was running away from being that guy in his 60s in the pub, complaining and saying, "Oh, could have been me, should have been me, should have been me." Oh no, talking about my former glories and with bitterness. And you walk up and down the country, the world. You walk in any pub, middle of the day, early evening. There's people doing that, talking about former glories. I don't want to do that. I wanted to. There's another silly little thing I had. Well, a dream of mine, a goal of mine was to. I'm coming from a small town, Lowestoft, and not a lot of people go to the Olympics. None. Me and there's been 3 people from Lowestoft go to the Olympic Games. One has followed in my footsteps as a female boxer, and there's one a runner called Paul Evans who I think he went to Barcelona '92, did okay, a medal. So it's very hard. It's hard to be what you don't see. Right? Where I'm from, right? People nobody looked like me. Nobody done great stuff. And I wanted to be, I guess, a beacon of light for people, not just from my town, but from towns like Lowestoft. Hasn't always got to be from London or Liverpool or Birmingham or the big cities where you are successful. And I always want, there's this ugly, disgusting statue on the seafront in Lowestoft, beautiful seaside town. And I used to go up and down the seafront every single day from 12 years old until I basically, retired when I was 30. Although I didn't live there anymore, but the odd one I was back. It's ugly, grotesque statue. I think one day that's going to be me. Like with a statue of me there, right? Because like Rocky Balboa, the statue on top of the steps.
Okay.
That's going to be inspiring for people. Because what is this ugly statue? That doesn't mean anything to anybody. But this statue of myself is really arrogant, by the way, but not in an arrogant way. It's a statue of me. Every little boy or girl who walks past, go, "Mummy, Daddy, who's that?" Oh, that's I went to the games. He did this. He did this. He did this. Oh, I want to be like that. You come from Lowestoft, yeah. Well, I can be like that if he's done it. I wanted to give back and inspire people as a dream of mine. And I always, when I didn't box anymore, thinking, now what else can I do to get that statue? And the statue was arbitrary. Whether I get a statue or not, it doesn't really matter. But it's like in my head, it's like, what can I do now to be looked at in 50 to 100 years' time? People go, oh, there's that guy. He did this, he did that. So, and I think, as you mentioned about the giving back, and I mentioned earlier, Like I am rubbish at a million things. I am good. I know what I'm very good at, and what I'm good at, I've basically packaged up, and I'm giving away now in fitness, helping people become better, healthier,
Yeah.
fitter, more confident versions of themselves.
Yeah, I think that's really powerful. And I would argue that you don't really want the statue. You don't really want it to some degree the car, the Aston Martin, and the mansion. I think they sometimes are things that are drip fed to us, as in that equals success. I think there's a part of you that's always wanted to help people and to give back from all the things that you've experienced. And I think that's always been, in a sense, the ultimate vision for you, which can be limited by what can appear to be, you know, reaching number one as as a boxer, being an Olympic boxer, being number one wrestler, being this, that, and the other. I think you've always wanted, and getting to know you and how genuine, and you're very open with your vulnerability, and it's so good to hear. But ever since I've met you, it's been very clear that you've wanted to help other people,
Mm.
and I think that's why I think, as you say, this is happening for you, not to you. It's because what you can give. We talked about gratitude. We get back.
Yeah, yeah.
We really do. And that's why it's so important to be generous, to be kind, to be compassionate, to be loving. And I know guys can find that particularly hard with the way that masculinity is obviously promoted in some places. But yeah, it's something that deep inside, when we experience it, it warms our heart in such a way which we connect with other people. We collaborate, and how we treat ourselves, we treat other people. It's absolutely powerful. So I think you're on an amazing journey right now with inspiring, uh, you know, as many people as you can to take up your fitness app. Before we dive into your fitness app, though, because I think it's a very good fitness app. I'm biased, obviously, and I wanted to ask you about celebrity SAS. Look, we've got to go with the highs and the lows here, haven't we? Right.
Of course.
So it's So I wanted to ask you about that, because that winning part of you, that part of you likes to win. How do you think that showed up when you were filming? It was it New Zealand? That's
New
where it
Zealand,
was, wasn't it?
New Zealand,
Look,
yeah.
cold.
Yeah, New Zealand, yeah. It was their winter, freezing cold. It was yeah, June, July of last year we filmed it. No, June, July of 2023. We
Wow.
filmed it in 2023. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and then yeah, they took forever to kind of edit it. 'Cause how did it edit? So SAS, I watched. I think there was 8 episodes. I watched the first three. Didn't want. I boycotted it. I didn't watch the rest of it. Honestly,
Well,
I
you
didn't.
messaged me and you said I'm not looking good on this, and I was thinking, what? I had completely did the opposite point of view. I thought, especially at the beginning, you were coming across quite well.
Thing is, like, I've done enough TV now. I did Big Brother, right? And it was a special version. It wasn't Big Brother. It was, I think, remember back in 2020. So it was a celebrity Big Brother version. So back in 2007, I don't know if you remember, but that's when Jade Goody went back into the house as a celebrity, and there's a big race route over Shilpa Shetty, her, and they
Yeah.
basically, and it was, and then over the following year, they didn't get any celebrities. They wanted to have a break from the celebrity one because basically no celebrity would do it because Jade Goody just kind of killed her career and other people were involved, and basically they're being kind of like slightly racist towards Shilpa Shetty, and it wasn't a good
Mm.
look. So the following year, 2008, they did a Big Brother celebrity hijack. So what they did, they got celebrities in to be Big Brother for the day, and they got in 10 of the most talented housemates in the UK. So I was in it. I just become world champion, junior world champion boxer. There's some singers in there. There was some Cirque du Soleil artists. There was the youngest politician in the country. A house full of like interesting, quirky people. Um, there was a beauty pageant slash Mensa student. It was an interesting house. And people
Okay.
like Matt Lucas and Ian Wright and Russell Brand were house Big Brother for the day. Anyway, so basically, and this opened my. I don't even know why I got upset about the SAS thing. I actually got a bit frustrated about it. I don't know why I still got frustrated. That was 2008. Best part of 20 years ago, my first foray into TV. And basically, I've come out. And I was supposed to. I was the favourite to win until the day before. There's like 31 days. I was favourite to win. Everyone loved me on the show, and I was just being me. I was being. When I came out, my sister said to me on the night after the night of the final show, Leanne said to me, "Why were you so quiet in week one? You were so not like you." I went, "What do you mean quiet?" She went, "You didn't do anything." And I went, "Well, I was having fun. I was playing games. I was me, right?"
Mm.
She went, "You didn't do anything until like week two." And I was like, "What?" And I came back and watched it. I made friends with one of the producers. He's a really nice girl. And I was watched it when I came out, and I didn't show me at all in week one. Not what snippets. And then they started showing me more heavily. And I spoke to the producer, and he went, "Oh, basically, how these TV shows work, right?" So I'm sorry to ruin it for everyone who likes reality TV.
Uh-oh.
The producers have a storyline for every person. That's why you're picked. In their head, you're going to do this. And they got me. I was a boxer. I was a world champion boxer. Just become world champion. I was this, and they were sure I was going to be cocky. I was going to be arrogant. I was going to be big headed. They told me things to say in the TV, the VT before they air. Right? They told me to say things like, and I was 18. Them say, "Oh, like about looks and being good looking and picking up girls and stuff." Right? They fed me that stuff to say, and there's like a 2 hour long interview. They used like 3, 4, 5 seconds here. And I watched it thinking, what the hell? So basically, the point I'm making is this. They thought I was going to be this kind of bully character. Now, that's not me whatsoever. It's me talking about my mum, my sister, how much I love women, respect women.
Mm.
Which for a lot of boxers, back in 2008, it wasn't really a common thing to do. And then the producer said to me, "We were sure you can be this guy. You weren't that guy, so we changed you. We changed. We changed." I was a favourite in every bookmaker to win that show. Then the day before, John, who they wanted to win, is a Scottish guy. They wanted to win John to win from the beginning. Me and him played games with each other the whole time. Then Joanne, my sister, said to me, she went, "Why'd you pour water over John's head? You were going to win until that, like the day before the final, a couple of days before." I went, "What do you mean?" She went, "Oh, because he put a banana in my hair." So, go back to, and this is an SAS, but this is relevant to the thing.
Yeah.
So basically, me and John played games with each other, messed around with each other for the whole thing. Real nice guy, John. He found a moldy black banana that had been in the house for the whole month. I'm asleep on the sofa. He smushed it in my head. Right? I was fuming. I was so angry. But you wait. I was angry, but like jokey angry. He got me good, right?
Yeah.
So that like he was on sleep on the sofa. I got a big pot of water and put. Oh, I know in Big Brother you have hot water for 1 hour of the day. Like they do things on the show, and they do this. This has happened on TV that like the viewers don't see, but they do things like to rile you up. They put like chili powder in our toothpaste. They do things not to just to annoy us, make us angry and angry at each other. And they wouldn't show that, but they'd show like us being ratty with each other about something else, right? They're clever like that.
Okay. Yeah. Very clever.
And then we had hot water for 1 day. So I've now got to go and have a cold shower in January in England, washing this shitty banana, moldy banana out my hair. I got John with some water, and what they did, they didn't show John putting banana in my hair. They showed me putting water on him, me laughing, he being upset, me laughing from days before about something else, him in bed having a sulk, me laughing about something happened days before, not about the incident. And I finally got me to be a bit like a bully. Now SES was the same, and I didn't win. He won. I didn't. SES was the same. Like we did a 4 or 5 hour long master interview, and you know me, like this podcast. I'm laughing, I'm chatting, I'm telling stories,
Yeah. Yeah.
laugh.
Yeah.
I was serious in this 5 hour long master interview for maybe accumulation of maybe a minute and a half. Right, I was about certain because they kind of steered the conversation, talk about whatever. That's all they showed. They didn't show me laughing at all. And then what they did, everything that happened on SAS, they showed that. They didn't show me laughing. They didn't show me like doing wrestling moves in the house. They didn't show me supporting people. They didn't show any of it. They showed me everyone got in a mood and that. Everyone, it was a real
Mm.
difficult like experience, a couple of weeks. Everyone was in a bad mood. Everyone was good. I was one of the happiest people in the group. I was really funny. I was chatting. I was like a great team player. Didn't show any of that. They showed they showed the snippets from the master interview, and because I wasn't like that the whole time, even things like we did, and I didn't see this because I was boycotted. But like by like episode 5, me and my team had to take all this stuff up this mountain, and the rule was something like, again, and Cherry Healy, who's a really good friend of mine who was on the show, told me this. she couldn't believe it. So basically, we had all this heavy equipment. We had to work as a team to get up the hill. We had one less people than the other team, um, and they were just punishing me. And basically, the rules were you couldn't be more than like 10 meters from the first person to the last person. So what I did, right, all the heavy stuff, and I stormed off ahead, put the things down, and there's Bianca Gascoigne struggling with all this net and struggling with it. She had a baby 3 months before. So I'm here, 10 minutes ahead, put the stuff down. I walk back to get Bianca's stuff, get her stuff. She had walks with nothing. I walk
Oh,
back
yeah.
10 meters past my stuff. So basically, I'm up and down the hill. I did a mountain twice. Up, down, up, down, up, down, helping all the girls out. I was their savior. The narrator of the TV show, or one of the staff, said something like, "Oh, there's Gogo off thinking about himself, leaving the team behind him," and they showed me doing that, but didn't show me the reason why. Me going back and forwards, and it's like they
Oh, yeah. I don't.
a
Yeah.
certain way, and that wasn't. And then the interrogation bit, right? That's not. I left into interrogation because I failed the interrogation. There is so much more to that. But they use the bits I want to use and say things I want to say, and they manipulate the audience to thinking like, "Oh, is this?" And like, them, it was just, it was. I said, putting about the Big Brother thing is, I don't know why I got so annoyed because almost 20 years later, that's TV. TV sells, right?
Yeah.
I'm annoyed because I did that show because it was really fun. Everything, it was an amazing show, a great experience to do, but it just wasn't how it was, and it's like unfair because it wasn't. That's not me. How they showed me, and I just
Yeah.
bugged a bit. But that's
Okay. But it's
TV, and
like history repeating itself. Do you think, because obviously, your approach to go on to these shows, I don't know if your agent put you forward or your approach, but knowing what you know now about how they create this narrative about you and how that's drip fed to the audience, um, would you ever go on a show like this again, knowing that that's likely to happen, or do you think that you're going to move on from this now? What's important to you?
I make a good TV. But to be fair, like every show I've done, they always say to me, "Oh, you're one of the best guys." Not just on the final production, because the final production is they did 8 episodes. I think it's 8 episodes of the SAS Who Dares Wins. We were there for like they filmed everything. Every person was filmed every second of the day. I think it's like 15 of us for the whole like 10, 11 days. There's so much content they can only use snippets. So like I'm a colourful character and I do make quite good TV. So that's really fun. So
Yeah.
I do really enjoy it. Like I complain, but like I did some amazing things on that TV show that you just money wouldn't buy. We ran down a dam. They didn't show that, by the way. They didn't show
I
me.
saw that. I mean, that is impressive. Hey.
There's nothing else. I like Pete Wicks, but they're like, "Oh, Pete was so fast." Well, I was twice as fast as Pete Wicks. They didn't show me because it wasn't conducive to the story they were telling. Right, and that was like,
Yeah. Do you know, I did wonder where, you were missing in some of the trials. I would just assume that you did okay, but I didn't
yeah,
realize that. Yeah, that's a reason. Ah, okay.
yeah, purely honestly, that's an ego thing. But they were going on this particular damn one. That was a really cool experience, by the way. They're like, "Oh, Pete was so fast." Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I said, and he was performance. I said, "Watch this." And I ran. I was so good. I was so fast at it, and they didn't show me. And I'm like, "Oh, okay." Okay. So going back to your question, would I do it again? Yes, because I do really, really enjoy it. And ultimately, I'm
Okay.
in a place now where I'm like, I don't really care. Like, I was annoyed at the time because I was like, "Ah, it wasn't fair." But like, I know me. People who
Yeah.
know me. I don't really care what somebody from Scunthorpe, if they think, "Oh, he's a bit of a dick," he comes a bit of a dick on that TV show. I don't really care this. I don't really care. Like,
Okay.
I had a great experience. And going
Yeah.
back to that, I learned a lot about myself on that show. And I mentioned, and this is the thing that I take in accountability. I could, if I, we mentioned there about going through adversity or growing through it. So I could, and this is a really small example of what I'm talking about, but I could be like, "Oh, editors, it's their fault. They made me look. They made me look, right?" But it's like, I could do that. And that's a very valid thing to say. But I did actually behave in that way. Like, I did get in the mood. I did get angry. There's one particular task I
Mm.
got angry with Rachel Johnson, like Boris Johnson's sister, because she's a lovely girl. She's actually really, really nice. But
Was that
like,
the canoe where you're carrying the canoe? Yeah,
she
yeah.
now, in fairness, they almost killed me. right? Because they crushed me
Okay.
against this fence, and it was way harder than it looked on TV. It was horrible, and I was in a bad mood. However, and to be fair, she was a rubbish leader. She was a rubbish leader, admittedly, but I still behaved in that way. So I can't be annoyed at the editors 100%. And if I just went, oh, the editor is always really nice most of the time, then I don't learn from that. And I'm like, no, if I am going to do a TV show like this,
Yeah,
I'll
yeah,
be so fully aware of, look, if I act like this, they can show this. I knew what I signed up for. I totally get it. So
yeah.
I've learned myself. I've learned that, like, if I want to be better, I must do better.
Do you think
Now,
the criticisms from the SAS soldiers themselves were fair when you were being, when they were talking to you in the interrogation room?
um, well, I boycotted. I don't know what they said actually.
Oh, right, okay.
In interrogation, I watched a bit of interrogation.
Yeah.
And I didn't watch. I didn't see what they said.
Well,
Uh,
you seem to
Probably
be
not.
opening up about, when they brought you into the room. I think it was just an interrogation. They brought you into the room for like a chat, and then you were talking about what you've been through, and you'd opened up, and I think they were trying to advise you that, you kind of had to let go of the sort of ego side of things to be part of the team.
And so that's bullshit. Because I didn't watch that, right? So no, because I haven't got an ego. We've all got an ego. We all have an ego. But when we hear the word ego,
Mm.
we think, oh, negative. Everyone's got an ego. Everyone has. Like, we all have. It protects us, right? So now, too much of an ego is a bad thing. A bit of an ego is a good thing. I
Yeah.
think. It's how you channel that. I was a huge team player. So like I was a massive I can have a bit of an ego sometimes, and sometimes it can maybe get in my way a little bit. But like I'm the first to admit that when it does. I was a massive team player on that show. I mentioned the mountain
Mm.
about the Bianca thing and carrying all the stuff up, and you asked Cherry Healy or Bianca Gascoigne how much of a team player I was. I was the team player. We had to be on parade dressed in a certain gear with all the things like on our bodies. For example, we had a number had to be the right way around, and like people like Rachel, I love Rachel Johnson. She's so nice. Her number's often upside down, or she can dress up properly. And there's me and Ovi at the door, dress people, right? To put your bag properly. That's what a team player is.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
wasn't a player. They just didn't show me, and ultimately, that was
yeah,
the
yeah,
storyline for me. So
yeah. Yeah, that must be tough to watch. That must be tough to watch. As we're
frustrating.
running out of time, yeah. Yeah. What's your next TV show?
My agent wants me to do Hunted, the Hunted one.
Oh yeah. Okay.
I've never actually been in America now for the last few years. Never actually seen Hunted, but like
Mhm.
I it sounds cool.
Yeah, it
But
does. Yeah,
I do like the TV. I do really enjoy the TV stuff. I do. It is fun, and I don't take myself too seriously, so it's fun. I do enjoy it, and yeah, these are experiences that you can't buy to go on SAS with those wins. You can't pay
yeah,
money
yeah,
to go on there. So like, I'm really lucky for the experience, and you meet people and get a great experience
yeah.
from the show. But yeah,
I'd like to see you on Race Across the World.
well, that'd be cool. That'd be
Yeah, that'd be quite cool. I'd love to see you. That's quite challenging, but I'd like to see your mindset in action there. Plus, you get to meet so many fantastic people. That'd be amazing. As we need to wind up soon because I know that you've got to go, so I've kept you over. But I wanted to ask you about this amazing fitness app that you've created
cool. So, yeah,
and how it's helping. Yeah,
yeah.
go for it. So,
Go
t-
Fitness. So basically, you mentioned it earlier. I heard a quote a number of years ago, and it didn't do much to me because I wasn't at a place in my life then to hear it. I heard again about 3 years ago. Audrey Hepburn. She said she got to an age in her life where she realized she had two hands. One hand to help herself, one hand to help others. And that's when you were talking earlier about giving back. That's the
Mm,
quote I heard that changed everything because my entire life I've been selfish, if in all honesty. And like the argument, would be like one has to be selfish to be an athlete, to be a boxer, because you're literally getting punched in the head. You've got to train for your own health and
mm,
safety. Yes, but I've been selfish, and I'm now in a place in my life where I do want to give back. And the greatest moment of my life, other than my baby being born, was beating a Ukrainian at the Olympic Games. It was a wonderful experience, wonderful moment, and there's the whole talk around that. Now, the closest I've got to that is actually helping other people, like getting texts from people saying, "Oh, I've done this or I've done that, or I've lost this much weight." That means
Mm.
so much to me. I'm working with a guy at the minute, James, 28. He's part of my app, 28 stone. Yeah, he was. He said to me, his words, "Am I too fat to do the app?" I said, "Well, how quote unquote fat are you?" He went, "I'm 28 stone." Of course. I said, "We'll make it work, right?"
Yeah.
He's done so well since over
Mm.
Christmas. Since he started in November, so now January, so over the last 6 weeks, he's lost 16 pounds. 16
Wow.
pounds. And he is a guy that's never lost weight ever in his life. Here's a guy that here's a guy that's going to get bigger and bigger and bigger until he was just going to pop, right? Like this. So like to change someone like that, right? Like people might go, "Oh yeah, because he's so big, it's easy to lose weight." No, 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 no. Because his habits are so unhealthy, it's so hard to make a guy who's 28 stone do burpees, make a guy
Mm.
who's 28 stone do press ups on his knees because he can't do a full press up. Like, that's hard. Now, if he can do it, anybody can do it. I did a 2 week challenge before Christmas, and one guy lost 20 pounds. 20 pounds in 2 weeks, just doing 7 minute workouts. And as you know, they're only 7 minute workouts.
Amazing.
And it's not even just a weight loss app. Of course, we exercise, you get healthier, lose weight, but that's only one element of it. It's about James, my client, messages in the group every single day, a video of him working out every day because we hold him to account, and he
That's
does every
lovely.
single day. And like honestly, mate, some of the stuff is just so inspiring. Watching the people like change their lives, and
Yeah.
people can go. And the main thing about seven at home workout, you don't need any equipment, just yourself. People can people think, oh, going losing weight is really hard, or getting fit is really hard, really unattainable for people like me. I'm too busy. 7 minutes, just 7 minutes a day. And then when you do one 7 minute workout, it's like, oh, that's really unintimidating. I'll do another one and
It
another
is
one.
true.
And before you know it, so what James does, my 28 stone, who's now what 20, 26 and a bit stone, he does 2 workouts a day. That's what he does. 2 workouts a day.
I
That's
think,
all he does. 40 minutes a
I think
day.
that's yeah. I saw a study about this as well. Took two twins and they were doing, one was doing like a 45-minute and one was doing a 20-minute workout, something like that, something similar. And, you know, the results from the 20 minutes was actually really good enough,
Mm.
really good
Yeah,
enough.
it's not.
And it was,
Sorry, it's not about how long, about
yeah,
the intention behind it. The intention, and
yeah.
if you can get where you can get in a 45 minute. So what we do is like basically the benefits. Some of the studies that I've done with my guys is like do 1 7 minute workout in the morning. At the end of the end of that night, the benefits you've got from working out 7 minutes alone in the morning is comparable, even better than a 45-minute steady state cardio thing in the evening. Why? Because first thing in the morning, you wake up, get workout done, your metabolic
Mm.
rate starts spiking, so you're burning more calories throughout the day. Emotionally, you feel better. Your hormones in your head are happier. You're just a better, healthier, happier person. I truly believe a healthier person, a stronger person, is a better person.
I mean, you're changing people's lives. It's so lovely to hear. And that's, again, your whole path has led to this very moment, and you're discovering so much about yourself, which is really lovely to see. So if people wanted to, by the way, apparently you have an amazing mindset coach on this app. Can you tell?
I was going to say, so yeah, don't you? One of the reasons why it's so good is because I've collaborated with such experts like yourself. We've done an amazing, and this is the thing, we've done an amazing a deep dive into anxiety, haven't we? We've done, I think
Yeah,
it's like
yeah.
11 episodes about anxiety, and we were filming for recently, and I sat there and you're telling me about anxiety. With like it's an 11 episode, yeah, deep dive and study into what it is, and I'm sitting there, and I said to you, I said, I'm looking forward to my next anxiety attack, my next panic attack. So I want to do the things that you teach. And how weird is that? And guess what? A few
Yeah.
months later, strange thing to wish. A few months later, I was on gone through a difficult time last few years. I've been partner, pregnant and stuff, like worries about whatever things that people worry about. And I was on a
Mm.
plane I was on a plane flying back from Calgary back to Atlanta, where I live. 5 night red eye, so a night flight. I'm sitting there. I had the worst panic attack I've had in a long time, a bad one. I'm stuck in the middle seat between two people, so I got a late flight. Changed my flight to a red eye, and my heart, and I did exactly. I couldn't get onto the app because there's poor signal. But I remembered what you said. I did exactly what you said, the ABC method. Wow, honestly, mate. So what would have been a
Yeah.
really bad 4 or 5 hour flight was a shit 15 minutes, and
Yeah.
then I was like, oh, and I was smiling to myself, thinking, "Wow, it actually works. This is unbelievable," And
Yeah, and it's good that it's kind of, I'm sorry that you went through that, but also good that you experienced the power of just doing that ABC technique, because it changes the way that you experience them in the future.
yeah,
You don't fear them so much, and they can happen less. And if they do happen because of circumstances, you know exactly what to do. What makes anxiety feel much worse is the powerlessness with it. I don't know what to do, and yet now you know what to do. And on the app, there's not only your fitness, so you can do 7 minutes of fitness, but there's all sorts of help from different experts, including myself, to help people with their mindset around things. So it's why it's such a powerful little app. And if people wanted to get it, by the way, where do they go?
So ogogofitness.com, OGOGO fitness.com,
Yeah,
ogofitness.com, join the app. Yeah, it's really affordable. It's really affordable.
amazing.
It's yeah, very affordable. I wanted to make it affordable. This is for single mothers and up to CEOs. This is for anybody. Ultimately
Yeah.
anybody who hasn't got time to go to the gym. We all deserve to be fit and healthy. And yeah, honestly, Paul, thank you so much. And your gratitude meditations as well. Something on it's just it's fantastic. I'm very lucky to have you on. So thank you so much for
You're welcome. You're
expertise.
welcome. Okay, so what's next for you? What's besides not TV show, besides the app? What's next for you?
I really want to help people. As I mentioned, the
Yeah.
Audrey Hepburn quote, I want to give back now. And don't get me wrong, there's still things I want to do in my life. I want to continue wrestling. I want to win a belt in wrestling, and just a small
Okay.
little. Yes, I want to
Okay.
win something in wrestling, and I've worked really hard to get good at this very difficult craft. I want to carry on doing some acting stuff, which I've done. I've done in another movie just been released recently, so that's really cool. I've done a really cool fight scenes. That's really cool. I mean, I don't want to give up,
Nice.
but I die in the end, so I don't really. Yeah,
All
it's a
right.
really cool. It's a
Okay.
really cool movie. And yeah, ultimately, my job is to be. I think we should all do this. Become a better, more valuable person in every aspect of my life. Firstly, a great
Mm,
father, a great partner. I want to help people. My coaching, the fitness app, and my one-to-one coaching. Wrestling is for me to satiate my desire to perform and carry on just living a really good life.
amazing. Amazing. Anthony, we finally got here to have this episode. We've been talking about it for a while, and somehow it's not happened. But I'm so grateful it did today. Thank you for coming onto the show and being open, being vulnerable, sharing with us your journey. It really is, wow, what life experiences you've had, but it's also helping so many. Thank you.
No, thank you. Thank you for the platform, Paul. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. And thank you to the listeners who have joined me and Anthony Ogogo for this episode of the Ultimate Mindset Change podcast. If you have any comments or have anything that you want to say or ask, please leave me a review. It's always very great. I'm always very grateful. And I look forward to connecting with you again in the very next episode. Have a very wonderful, peaceful, and present day.